what's going on? My name is ThirdLion. I'm a producer. I've been producing for over 10 years. And in those 10 years, I've learned a lot. I've made a lot of mistakes. And I wanted to start a YouTube channel to share some of those mistakes and share some of the things that I've learned. Thanks for taking a look. Hit like or subscribe and let's get on with the video. In this video, I'm gonna lay out some key points to consider as you start your career as a music producer. This includes the budget, your digital audio workspace and or drum machine, other hardware such as laptops, computers, learning resources, practicing, networking, different genres and styles, being patient and persistent. Now, starting with budget, you need to figure out how much you're willing to invest in both equipment and hardware. You don't need to spend a lot of money initially. There are quite a few affordable options. The biggest mistake I see people make is spending too much on nice to have tools that aren't completely necessary to get started. This could be expensive keyboards, high powered computers, or the latest and greatest drum machines. You don't need to spend a whole lot to get started. People will spend a whole lot of money and then get demotivated once the actual work of learning how to produce comes into play. Then half that stuff ends up on Facebook Marketplace. So you may not get your money back, and in most cases you're not getting your money back with software. So really peel it back with your expectations of how much money you need to spend just to start out. Some people start out on iPads, some people start out on some of the oldest computers you've ever seen. There have been hit songs recorded on iPhones. So really consider that the latest and greatest tool may not be that useful for someone who's trying to learn the fundamentals. Choosing a DAW and or drum machine. So a DAW, what is a DAW? It's a digital audio workspace. It is the software in which you will be making music. You need to find one that fits your workflow. There are great DAWs out there such as FL Studio, Logic Pro X, Ableton, Studio One, Cubase, Propellerhead's Reason. People make hits on all of them. I've spent 10 years pretty much using both FL Studio and Logic, and I'm of the opinion that most DAWs will get whatever sound you want if you master them. With drum machines, if you choose to go to the drum machine route, do your research about the intuitiveness of each machine and how they affect the style of music you're making. MPCs are a classic way of making hip hop, electronic music, and even R&B. Other drum machine samplers, such as the Roland 404 or Teenage Engineering's OP1, are widely used for specific subgenres like lo-fi music, lo-fi hip hop, and house music. Also keep in mind that drum machines may start to exceed the cost of a laptop, so keep that in mind when you're trying to decide if you want to work with a DAW software or with a drum machine. If you're already an instrumentalist like a guitar player or keyboard player, a DAW may serve as a better option for you. You can plug into drum machines, the SP404, you can plug into it. You may have less options with effects. I try to shoot for at least 16 gigs of RAM when I'm looking for a laptop, because you're going to need a laptop that has enough reliable power with sufficient RAM and processing power. I would recommend getting a hard drive of at least 500 gigs of storage space, but with the way that computers are built now, a lot of the hard drives are soldered onto the frame. So you could also just get an external hard drive if you happen to purchase a laptop that maybe doesn't have a lot of space on it. So an external hard drive will be great. Most gaming laptops have a lot of power and sufficient processing for even the most like CPU heavy softwares. When I started in 2012, I finally upgraded to a MacBook Pro, a 2012 MacBook Pro for about $1,000. I did upgrade the RAM to 16 gigs for about $80. And then I had that laptop for about 10 years before I upgraded. So in 2022, I finally switched it out. So that laptop and me spent quite a bit of time together. Obviously, things like Macs and Apple products carry a hefty price. So looking back, I probably could have started my journey with a $500 gaming laptop and an external hard drive. Look for deals on your local marketplace if you're looking for computers or other hardware. Moving on to more hardware. So an audio interface. This is essential for recording high quality audio. You will need an interface if you want to record vocals and instruments. A MIDI controller. A MIDI controller you may or may not need. This is entirely dependent on your workflow. Buying a MIDI controller may be helpful for creating melodies and drum patterns, but it's not entirely necessary. Most of the digital audio workspaces you use on your laptop or computer will allow you to use the keyboard on your laptop to play notes, or you can manually draw in notes and melodies. And then lastly, monitors or headphones. You should probably invest in good studio monitors or good headphones. You should probably do both. This will teach you how to mix properly and how to mix for more dynamic sound. So a lot of consumer technology headphones that you might get, like Beats or Sony, they accentuate certain frequencies and elements as features. So you don't want this because it's counterproductive to music production, since it's not an accurate depiction of your music. Learning resources. You can learn everything about being a music professional on that magic little box that you watch TikToks on. So consider that. You could also consider buying books on music theory and production techniques. Don't count out books. Digital templates, production guides, all great. A lot of that stuff you can find from other producers who will give you that information, or sometimes sell that information for a low price. Practice. Practice is the big one. This is such a simple key, but it's probably the most overlooked one. If you don't like failing over and over again, maybe reconsider music production. Maybe reconsider just in the music industry entirely. Like, you're gonna spend hours practicing techniques and failing at them until something just finally clicks. It can really be daunting, debilitating, but if you remain consistent, I mean, you'll find success in ways that you never thought of, in ways that you never expected. But you need to set aside regular time to practice and experiment with the DAW and any instruments you might be using. I started off producing with 2 or 3 other people. They're no longer producers. It's really common for people to put years into this and then just give up, you know? And I haven't done that, even with the limited success that I've seen. It's just, I genuinely love making music. Moving on to networking. In the 10 years that I've lived in Dallas, the 10 years of being involved in my local music scene, the one thing I've learned is that oftentimes people would rather work with people they like over people who have more talent or proficiency. That means that the only difference between you and a successful producer is an opportunity. So yes, you're going to spend a lot of time in your room alone making beats. You need to set aside some time to go out and meet people in your community. Every single state has a small local music scene. Even beyond your local scene, we have the internet. Reach out to people. Attend workshops. It's okay to pay for a workshop. They're useful. They provide not only a place to network, but a lot of the times they would have guests that are a little more established in the industry. Find people to collaborate on projects with. When I first started out, I paid for music seminars and workshops, and I met some really well-established producers that I'm still friends with today. People that I have on my phone, which is great, and even with my limited success, it's still just great to know that whenever it is my time, that those people will be there to rally for me and to support me. Those people have even already given me a lot of opportunities to get in rooms and share my music, and which has been great. And I wouldn't have met those people had I not left my bedroom. Genres and styles. Be unique. It is very easy when you start off. It's almost required when you start off that you're going to sound like someone else. That's okay. That will change the more you master your technique, the more you master the sound you're trying to emulate, because your natural taste and workflow will start showing in your music, and that will make you unique. but always shoot for uniqueness. Find a niche, explore different genres that will help you understand different types of production. Because once you, like, let's say you start off, you want to make hip hop. You know, I started off making hip hop. I was making just boom bap beats forever. Everybody else was making trap beats and all this stuff, and everyone was like, I want to be the next Metro. I wanted to be the next Madlib, you know? So that's where I started. But the more I started dipping into the heavier trap sound, I learned better production techniques. I learned modern sensibilities to do with the kind of old school sound that I was trying to emulate. So that is going to help you find a unique sound. Going back to sort of like practicing, but the patience and persistence. Like I said, music production is challenging, not because it's hard to do, but because it's extremely competitive. It's a widely sought after skill. So you need to be patient with yourself on your skill level and on your success level. When you first start out, it's going to be bad. That's okay. That's perfectly okay. It's going to be bad. It's going to suck. But if you keep going, it's going to get better. If you keep going, you might just make it. But if you stop, you're definitely not going to make it. There's no excuses. Just go cook up. Keep going. Feedback. You should always share your work, even when you're not comfortable with it. But you share it with confidence. You share your work confidently, but seeking constructive feedback so that you can get better. And that should never stop. No matter how good you think you are, there's always something you can learn from someone else. And this is going to help you identify areas for improvement and help you grow as a producer. You know, anytime there's an opportunity to play your music, do it. No hesitations. And that's really it for the advice that I have for anyone starting out as a music producer in the year of our Lord 2025. If you have any questions, just throw them in the chat below. So yeah, I appreciate anyone that's taking a listen, taking a watch. Hit that like and subscribe, and thank you so much.